Wait. He did what? ባለፉት 2 ወራት በከባድ ውድድር
us some reactions if you can hear us. Hello, everybody. Let's see your reactions if you can hear us and see the screen presented, please. All right. Thank you. Awesome. All right. In that case, we're just doing quick tests. We will start our sessions within the next 1 or 2 minutes. No, man. Button. Okay. No, you're not.
Uh, Hello everyone. If I can have your attention, please. Is it working remotely? Can I get a check? Is it working remotely? So if anybody from the hackathon team joined, it is. It's working remotely. You can hear me and everything. Okay, great. So, uh, hi, hi everyone. My name is Musei. and I am part of the product team here at A2SV. And my teammate here is Lydia. Introduce yourself, Lydia.
My name is Lydia. I'm also a part of the product team. So today we're going to be presenting to you how you can polish your pitch decks.
Yeah, today is all about polishing our pitch decks. Without further ado, let's get started. So first, what is a pitch deck? So like you guys are by now familiar with what a pitch deck is, and you've been using them to present your projects so far. So in this focus, mainly we're targeting our like investors, and like our target audience is mainly going to be for investors, partners, or maybe even customers. So the customer section is going to be in our expos, but you guys are going to be given a chance to present your ideas to investors. So by then, what what kind of updates can we make to our pitch decks so that we can have optimal results? And we're going to use our pitch deck to present our business idea, product, or service. Let's first start with the components.
So there are 10 components that you should have in your pitch deck. So first, you should start with your title. You should have your problem statement, solution, market opportunity, business model, market intel strategy, competitive landscape, financial projection, team, and then finally call to action. So now we're going to go to each of these components and see how you can polish them on your pitch deck.
Yeah. The first one is going to be your title slide. So what makes a great title slide? First of all, it should be clean and professional. So that means, as you can see, less is more. So you should be able to tell with little word that what your product does and what your product is all about, product or service. And you should, like most of all, and like always, include your logo. Your logo should be of high quality, and it should also be prominent and identifiable to your project. And the next one is your tagline. So tagline basically means your slogan. It should be memorable and also at the same time uh, express what your product does and what you're trying to achieve. And like you can also convey your value proposition with it. So we're going to see an example with this, and like a good tagline would be short and memorable, like we said, but also uh, tell something about your product. Finally, uh, adding an impactful visual. So, for example, it could be an image or maybe even some kind of illustrations that goes with your product and uh, that tells something about what your product does. So let's see the examples. So let's start with a bad example. Clean energy presentation. So let's assume that the project we're working with is clean energy related, but you can't really tell from this title, right? So the title is Clean Energy Presentation, and it has nothing that goes along with it. So this is too vague, lacks branding or excitement. So there is no brand associated with it. It doesn't identify with any kind of product or even the people that work with it. So that's why this is a bad example. And the good example, it has the title of the product or the name of the product, EcoPower, providing clean energy solutions for rural communities. So this is a tagline. As you can see, even though like you can't tell from the name EcoPower, but from the slogan you can tell that it's working with clean energy solutions. So next time you hear EcoPower, you know what they're doing, and that's working with clean energy solutions. They provide that for rural communities. So that tagline, it's short and at the same time communicates what they do. So memorable, attention grabbing, and aligned with the value proposition. So on this example, we haven't included a logo, but that's because it's specific for each project. And your project's logo should be, like we said earlier, high quality and also memorable and like easily associated with you. Yeah, this is for the first section, which is the title.
So for the problem statement, you want to avoid being vague, and you want to make it specific and concise to what problem that you are addressing. So you want to make it clear that what the consequences are, who you're addressing, and what the problem is. So in doing this, you want to have data, you want to have quotes, you want to make your problem statement significant by adding visuals, graphics, and any data-driven information that you have to make your problem statement prominent. So let's look at the examples for this. Okay, so if you said your problem statement is many people don't have electricity, it's really like too general. It has no data or emotional impact, and it doesn't really convey that much information. But if your problem statement was over 1 billion people worldwide lack reliable access to electricity, leading to economic stagnation and poor quality of life. So here you've given some data of how many people worldwide don't have access to electricity, and you highlighted the consequences of this. You said it results in poor quality of life and economic stagnation. So that's why this would be a good example of how you should state your problem statement. You should have some data to back up how many people or what is affected by your problem statement. You should also have you should also include consequences of the problem statement.
So the third section of the pitch deck is the solution. So as we continue, guys, I would like to encourage anyone who has a question, so come right up and ask it. And also, we will be having a live review session of each of your projects, pitch decks, and like on that section of the program, you can you should feel free to ask your teammates on no your reviewers. Yeah. So the solution section. So on the solution section, how you should focus on how your solution uniquely addresses that problem. So you might have, let's say, competitors and also other products that have been in the system and working in the market before you, and they have their own way of addressing their solution. So you should have your unique value proposition in this solution statement, and how you address it, how you address that problem matters, and you should be able to communicate that in your solution statement. That would make up for a good solution statement. Then highlight key features and benefits that set you apart. So basically the same thing that we said. You should state your features so that you should be able to like back up the claims that you make in the first one, which is like you might say we address this problem, but how you're going to address it, you should back that up with the features that you've like added in your product. Use visuals like product demos or screenshots. So that means your product in action, and like that will be screenshots of your product and like other demos would be like people using it and things like that. Keep the explanation simple. Avoid technical jargon unless necessary. So this is basically on the syntax side. When you write your solution statement, it shouldn't be too much so that people won't be inclined to read it. So keep it simple, but include the points we've mentioned above, so that it provides like a good amount of information. So technical jargon, it should be avoided as much as you can. So this is usually dependent on your target audience. So investors, they're not going to be interested in the technical implementation of your product. But if you're looking for partners, and these partners are, let's say, for example, like on the technical side of things, then you might consider including it. But most of all, in most cases, technical part of your product should remain anonymous. So let's see examples. So bad example would be in the same project, we provide solar panels to people in need. So like this doesn't seem that much of a bad example, but when you see it, like when you see more into it, it's too vague, right? So who are these people in need, and how are they providing these solar panels? Like how are they actually giving them these solar panels? Too vague, lack specific outcomes, and also it lacks innovation. So how are they different from others? So in the good example section, EcoPower, mentioning their name here, delivers affordable solar-powered microgrids to off-grid communities. So here it mentions their target audience, right? Or the people in need, let's say. These are off-grid communities. They need that solar panels. And what this impact has shown or is going to like produce is it reduces energy cost by 60%, and it provides sustainable power to over 50,000 homes. This shows clear and measurable impact of their product, of their solution to this particular problem. And it also shows innovation. So these are the innovation part is, as you see, microgrid to off-grid, microgrid, solar, so affordable solar-powered microgrids. That's the innovative part. And in this small statement, we've managed to include so many information, and it's also relevant to the target audience, which what makes us say that is like the numbers included here, 60% reducing energy costs. So that tells like the impact and shows me like you guys are doing, you guys know what you're doing, and also like interest in investing potentially. Yeah.
For the market opportunity, you want to use like credible sources for your market data and statistics. So you want to break down your market into segments where it would fit in, and you want to have like charts, graphs, any sort of like visual graphics that you can have to make it visual where your product fits in the market. So, for example, you could use a bar graph similar to this. Okay, so first let's look at the example. So, in a bar example, we would have there's a huge demand for solar energy worldwide. Now, this really doesn't have any clear data. It doesn't focus on specific target markets, and it's vague. It's not very clear. So instead, we could say the off-grid solar market is projected to grow to 3.1 billion in 2025, driven to increase demand by developing countries. And you can also cite your sources where you found this data to make it more credible. And at the side, you could have visual aspects showing the growth of your market, segment throughout the years, what kind of growth it has, which makes your presentation more visually appealing and easy to understand for the target audience that you have, and make it clear like what your target is, what your market is, and how much people you expect to use your product throughout a given amount of time.
All right. So fifth section of the pitch deck is going to be the business model. So we say business model. It's mainly talking about the revenue streams or how you're going to generate revenue. And when it comes to your revenue streams, I think no, you should be as clear and as straightforward as you possibly can, because when you're presenting to your investors and potential partners, they want to see how you're going to generate money, and you can use diagrams and flowcharts to illustrate and like make your claims even better for your target audience. So highlighting pricing strategies and ensure that your pricing strategy is viable for your target market. So when mainly, usually when people or when other products state their business model or revenue streams, they don't go too detail in their pricing strategy, and that would communicate to an investor that they don't know much about their target audience. And like, if you know more about your target audience, you can say specifically say that we're pricing this like, I guess, subscription maybe or premium model to this much, so that it can align with their like, I guess, budget or their capabilities. And if there are any previous deployment that you've made or a pilot program, you can also mention that here. That would give you a much boost, but it's an optional case and it's not always expected of you. So this will depend on the progress of your product. So let's see the examples. So the bad example, we'll sell solar panels to people who need them. Still, there is that mention of people who need them. So it's being specific about which target audience you want to target. That's important. So this specific example lacks detail. It has no clarity on pricing, and also, like I said, there are no target audience. And a good example, EcoPower operates on a subscription model, charging $15 per month per household, with additional revenue streams of battery rental and government partnerships. So there is a subscription model, and with that subscription model, there comes a pricing of $15 per month per household. That would say something about your thing. Then that would communicate that multiple steps into your product. And they've also mentioned here that there are additional revenue streams from battery rentals and government partnership. So this means there are branched revenue streams that could potentially earn you money and generate income. So that's also like potentially a plus. And mentioning partnerships, that's also a good side from this example. So not only generating revenue from users, but through potential partnership, you could scale it and earn more. So as you can see here, where there is a graph that could further illustrate your standing. So there is a percentage for every revenue stream, and that shows that which revenue streams you guys are you like focusing on, and what is your main income. So by this point, is there any questions from you guys? So mainly I've encountered that many projects have issues when it comes to their business model on how to create it. So if there are any questions so far? Okay. From the remote team?
Um, I guess they're in the meeting now. You can say so.
So,
Um,
yeah, if there was anybody on the remote side, like speak up, and I think we'll be able to hear you guys.
okay. Then we will have our marketing and sales strategy. So here we want to make it clear to our audience, like who we are targeting. We want to show our long-term and short-term strategies. We want to include any partnerships, collaborations that we have or we plan to have. And we want to, if available, we want to have any metrics from the past, any marketing efforts from the past to demonstrate our effectiveness, if there are any. So here in the example, these are both like good examples for marketing sales strategy, but here it says, well, we'll use social media and word of mouth to promote our product. Now this is vague. It doesn't have any detailed strategy. It doesn't mention any partnerships or project results that we plan to have. So in our good strategy, we target rural communities. So we mentioned who our target market is. It says through partnerships with local NGOs and run targeted social media campaigns, generating leads with conversion rates of 20%. So here we mention we have a conversion rate of 20%, which is a predicted result that we intend to have based on the market and our product. We mentioned who our specific market target audience are that will use our product, which are rural communities. We mentioned to have partnership with local NGOs and run targeted social media campaigns. So we make our strategy more specific. This in turn makes our marketing strategy well rounded out and gives the audience a better image of what they expect our marketing strategy to be for our product.
So the next one is competitive landscape. So usually in the competitive landscape or the competitive analysis, we would create a matrix of our potential competitors. These are like existing platforms or products in the market that have been doing what we've been doing so far. And we visually compare our features and pricing and things like that, and try to point out on which parts we excel and on which parts we are improving the market. And in this, I guess, matrices of which we use to compare ourselves, we usually should use our unique selling points or unique value propositions. And these unique value propositions usually are driven out of like our solution statement from earlier, and we use these to compare ourselves with the existing competitors. And in this competitive analysis, the main thing we should keep in mind is to keep it positive and focus on what we're actually providing and what makes us better, and rather than like making it about our competitors and criticizing them. So let's we should talk about what sets us apart in the market. Let's see examples. So in this example, we haven't included the traditional metrics of or table, which we would list out our competitors and our unique value propositions, and we would show that which parts we excel and things like that. And that should be the case on your pitch decks, but there is also a section where you can include a statement. So let's see the bad example. Our solution is better than others on the market. So this is a really bad example, for example, because they're not stating their competitors, right? It says others, and like what makes it better. So what is the unique value proposition? And a good example, compared to competitors, EcoPower offers 30% lower pricing and integrates battery storage. So these competitors should have been mentioned and should be mentioned on the metrics or the table chart. And compared to them, they are 30% lower pricing. So this is one unique selling point. And another selling point is it integrates battery storage, making it the most cost-effective solution for off-grid communities. So there is another selling point, which is they include in the battery storage in their value proposition or in their solution. So basically, you would have to state all your selling propositions, unique ones that only apply to you, and specifically compare it with others. Like I said, mentioning the other competitors or the main prominent competitors basically would give you a better result. Yeah.
So next we have our financial projections. So here we really want to focus on giving like data-driven projections, and we want to also make it realistic. So we want to have like some kind of visual, like a table or a chart that makes it easier to understand for the audience, for the investor or partners, or anyone you're giving this pitch deck to. We want to have them make it easier for them to understand. So it's important to have these visuals. We also want to have key assumptions and rationale behind our numbers. Like you can't just say we expect to make this much in this year and just stop there. So we have to give some kind of rationale on how we expect this based on our target audience, how many people use this, and what key features that set us apart that would prompt people to use this. So these are all projections, but we have to make it believable for the person that we are making this speech to. So we have to give some rationale behind it for them to believe what projection that we are giving. So we also want to mention any current funds and how it will be utilized if we have any. So let's look at the examples. So let's start from the bad example. So here we expect to make a lot of money as we grow. So this is a really bad example. It's vague. It doesn't have any specific numbers or timelines of how we expect to have those projections. So in the good example, we project to we we project 2 million in revenue for year one based on 20% conversion rate from 10,000 leads generated through partnerships with local NGOs and targeted digital campaigns with a stable 15% profit margin. So here we have a visual, like a line graph. Oh, we have a usual visuals. So at the bottom, we have over the projected years how we expect our financial projections to grow. So next to that, we want to have an estimated paragraph. So the paragraph would have the data on our paragraph should include how many target markets that we have. So here we say we project 20 million in revenue for the year based on, and then we rationalize it on 20% conversion rate from 10,000 leads generated through partnerships, through local NGOs and targeted digital campaigns. So this gives the listener, the investor or partner, anyone that we're pitching to, gives them a clear growth plan, gives them some kind of rationale of how we are attempting to reach the numbers that we are giving them. And then therefore will give them more realistic idea of it shows how clear that our plan is and how we aim to reach those goals.
So, and before the final, or like the final slide of your pitch deck, the penultimate slide would be your team. And in this team, you should focus on relevant experience. So what that means is you should mention your guys, your teams, your team members, and things like that. But you should also outline the relevant experience you have that makes you, I guess, the best fit for this project. And that would also include like mentioning if you have any professional advisors and like mentors that have a specific like a good experience in a specific, I guess, sector or industry that you guys are working on or your product focuses on. And you should also, as in the presentation, you should have professional photos and brief bios that tells something about you guys, that tells something about your team members. Like I said, advisors, board members that have credibility, that also have good experience in any sector that you guys work on, and if applicable, optionally you should mention team accomplishments and if you guys have been participated in any kind of events, have won anything, or even like participated in any kind of event that highlights your team and your accomplishment there. So a good example would be no, let's start with from the bad one. So there is the CEO, let's name him John Doe, with 10 years of experience managing restaurants. So as we said before, like this project is working on the renewable clean energy side, right? So his experience in managing restaurants is not totally relevant, right? Even though he has leadership experience, which is 10 years of experience, but still not relevant because it's managing restaurants. And their CTO, Sarah, has a background in graphic design. And the good example, John Doe, CEO with 10 years of experience in renewable energy. So this, we don't expect every team to have it at least, but like if there are any advisors or like we said, mentors with some experience that are relevant to your team, this would give you a good position or standing when you're presenting to investors so that they can have some kind of comfort or feel safety in your capabilities to deliver what you're promising. And the same thing with the CTO, Jane Smith, with a PhD in electrical engineering and 15 years of experience in solar energy solution. Yeah, that's basically.
So lastly, we have our call to action. So our call to action is basically what we want to have. So what is the purpose of this speech deck? So we want to be direct for what we're asking for. Like, why are we pitching this? Are we trying to get investments, partnerships? Like, we want to make that clear. We also want to have contact information and any important deadlines that we have. We want to make it visually appealing. We want to have a lasting impression, a good lasting impression on who we're presenting this to. So we want to have a powerful statement that reinforces the message of our project, basically. So let's look at the examples. Okay, so here it says, we're looking for some funding to help us grow. Please get in touch if you're interested in learning more. Let's work together to do good things. Like it's not a bad call to action, but it doesn't really have any sort of, it doesn't state who you are. It's too generic and it doesn't have any specific ask. Like how much money are you asking for? So it's not that much direct. So what we want to say instead is we are seeking 1 million for a 15% equity and stake to scale our clean energy solutions to 50,000 rural households within 12 months. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like equity. So for example, if equity stakes or looking for partnerships, we want to instead have a statement that clearly states how much money we have, how much percent stake, how much percent equity that our investors can have, what their investments, what kind of change their investment would have, and how many rural households that would affect. So yeah, we want to have them have a clear energy of where their money is going to, how much they have, how much equity they have if they're partners, how much equity they have, how much we need, and how much people that their investment will be affecting. So after that, you could have partner with us to drive impact and tap into a growing market. And then we should also leave our contact information after this in our finishing pitch deck. So the bad example doesn't have this, but an email or an address or offices, like we should include our contact information at the end of the slide.
So before we move on from this slide, the last thing I want to mention is that this is going to be the most live part of your pitch deck because you guys will need to update this based on your target audience. So to investors, your ask is going to be different compared to your like maybe partners or even customers. So make sure to make changes before you make live changes before you present it or show it to anybody. And this will depend on your project, on the kind of target audience you have. But make sure to address that before we move on. And yeah, this is the end of our presentation. So is there any questions so far from you guys? Okay.
Could you please go back to the part about marketing and sales strategy? Yes. So the first point is to show a clear understanding of your target audience. The thing is, in the market opportunity, the first thing to do is also to break down marketing into segments to define these segments. Is there any redundancy in the information?
Yeah, I'm having trouble understanding. So the first one is it says clear understanding of your target audience. Okay. The second part is
In the market opportunity, we need to define our target audience, right?
oh, I see. So which slide was that? Here.
Yes.
Okay. So in the market opportunity, it would make sense to clear understanding of your target audience. And in marketing and sales, you would also have to mention this because like there are like your target audience, but there are also your early adopters. And having that channel or connecting that with like how to reach them, that will also require a deep understanding of your target audience, let's say. And here you would have to mention how you would reach them. Right? So if I was an investor on the meeting,
Speak louder.
yeah, okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So can you hear me now, guys? Okay. So uh, what we were talking about was in the marketing opportunity side, it says you should show a clear understanding of your target audience. And also in the marketing and sales strategy, it says the same thing. So what we read about is the redundancy, right? So let's go back to the market opportunity. In that section, you would have to specify your target audience because that's where the whole thing comes from, right? You would have to have a bigger target audience where you would have to appeal to sell your product. That is stated. But in the marketing and sales strategy, you would mainly be focusing on your early adopters and how to get to them. So marketing channels, basically. And in order to identify that, there needs to be a clear understanding. So for this, if done right, there would be a previous market research where you would have to talk to your target audience to know where they would normally access this kind of product. So let's say there is this product is like working on the eco and clean energy solutions, right? So previously there are other products. Where would they get those previous products? You would have to ask that. So that maybe from social media campaigns on LinkedIn, they might see a post and things like that. And that's how we mean by clear understanding of your target audience. Based on previous research, where can you target them? So that making that marketing channel basically is what we're trying to mention. Is that clear? Any questions? Yeah. I'm unable to hear you, sorry. Yeah. So it's a bit hard to understand. So okay. Yeah. It was less on yeah. Okay, so that's a good question. So basically, in this pitch deck, you wanna, I guess, first sell your product, and when you sell your product, you don't. It doesn't always usually come to you guys demoing your product because that's what we mainly focus on the technical side, and investors or like particularly this target audience don't want to see like how you implement it, but what kind of impact that it has, and if you guys will make money on it, if you guys can like effectively access your target audience and be able to like efficiently sell your product. That's why this focus is on like selling your product instead of showing your product. But if you do have to show your product, then that would have a different section, and we usually do this at the end where we would have a demo of your how it usually works, how your product works, and like in that demo you could have some customers interacting with it and things like that. But at the end of the pitch deck, this section would come where you would have to show your product. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so if I understand the question correctly, you said people would tell you, or your target audience would tell you the problem they're facing on right now, and that's where you generate or you come up with a project idea. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay,
So
so
you want to put testimonies of the people that have the problem. So I guess we can include that. Let's go back to our problem. So you could have, it says like you can have like data or quotes to support the significance of your problem. So you can have your main problem statements in the beginning to see like what the problem is. Then you could have like quotations of maybe testimonies of people who have shown you these problems. You're gonna have it like as a tag, as a supporting quote of the problem.
yeah, so yeah, I agree. And basically, this in this type of presentation, it would be like you would have a limited time to present your idea to your investors, right? So it would be basically playing on that time and like deciding on or prioritizing which part of your product you really want to show. So maybe if you really think that showing the problem statement from the user's point of view would have a better impact on like maybe communicating your idea and or the severity of the problem to investors, so that you can include that here, and at the cost of potentially taking longer on this section and maybe not having enough time to demo and things like that, and you can include that right next to the problem statement or even with the problem statement. But it should be a different section, or like you said, it shouldn't go exactly with the uh, like the demo of your solution. So the problem section or their testimonial should come right after your product problem statement. So you don't want to, after you finish explaining the problem, you don't want to go back to again like having testimonials and things like that. So you should finish all that part together at first, then continue with your slides. So the way this is organized, the outline of the product is like you would go from priority, explaining your problem, solution, then what your market is and like how you're planning to make money and things like that. So finishing everything in that step and in that stage, I think would give you good standing. All right.
Like once the for after the problem statement, once the
Once.
market opportunity and then the
Then solution. I see. Yeah. So I mean, we've seen like from our research previously, there are multiple ways of presenting. So there are some like methods where people usually, or like during a link canvas presentation, where they would start from their target audience or the market opportunity first. Then in that opportunity, they would identify a problem and they would go to a solution. So I can't say that there is a clear outline of how to do this. And like it doesn't necessarily have to be your solution, then the market opportunity. But uh, like in this outline that we provided, we'd go from problem to solution, right? So the thing is, like in this outline, you would mention the problem statement first, and you shouldn't like typically include any kind of solution in that problem statement. So you would show the severity of that problem and things like that. Then The next slide would come right next to it and explain your solution and how you plan to address it. So that would be the connection between the problem and the solution statement, and then you bring the market opportunity. But I think you can swap the place if that's what you want. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Let's check from the remote. No. Did we go after the meeting?
Oh, you're sharing the screen. Oh, you thought one.
Okay. Remote team, I hope you've been able to hear us so far. Do you have any questions? We are in the Q&A section.
Oh,
Okay, so anybody joining from the remote team, please feel free to raise your hand to ask questions. And in the next section, we'll be having a live review of everyone's pitch deck. And for the remote ones, we have people assigned to you. And you can ask your reviewer these questions later on. But if you have any for us right now, please feel free to ask it here. If you don't have a question, can I see a thumbs up? Making sure
you can
that
hear us.
I think so. Yeah.
If you guys can hear us, can you give a thumbs up, please?
Okay. So we would think that you guys don't have any questions. And in-person team, any questions?
Slides.
Do you want the slides to be shared? Yeah, it will be shared. Yeah, shortly after we finish the meeting. Yeah. Okay. So if that's the case, then the next section is going to be reviewing and polishing time. So I guess one person from the product team will be assigned for each and every one of you, and we'll begin that shortly. Thank you, guys. Yeah, you've been great. Huh?
Yes. So, how did you know we know this?
Oh, you need that. Yeah.
Oh,
Can you hear me? Good evening.
yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I have a question. For my team, we actually do need some amount of help when it comes to the parts like the projections and the ask and the funding and all. We are not really sure of some certain things. For example, we're not really sure of how the financial how to like project in terms of like presenting our finance. So I don't know if the person from the product team will be able to help out like in this area. Maybe we'll explain like our plans and then because we are not really sure of how to go about that particular thing.
Uh, yeah, I don't think we've been able to hear you. Say, can you ask again? Is it on a specific slide? Your question?
It's on
No,
financial.
no, my question is basically
You're not sure
that
how
it's not. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, my team would need help when it comes to like the financial projection area and also the ask. We're not really sure what to put there or how to like make good financial projections. So we are asking now if the person that will be assigned to us would be able to help us in that area.
Okay. So do you want us to work on it with you guys, or like do you wanna like move this question to the review session, like with a specific product team for you guys, or do you want any kind of help from us right now? Okay, so on the financial projection and also on the ask, right, on the call to action slide. I understand those are the two slides you want. Uh, yes, the mentor would be able to help. I think they would give you some pointers on how to improve it. And because this is project specific, that's why we're moving it to that section. But if you have any other questions, we can answer them right now.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions from you guys? All right. Thank you, Saeed. If there are any other questions, feel free to raise your hand or speak up. All right, guys. The library sessions will begin shortly. Thank you.
Thank you.